There's a wonderful story of a man in a village who passed away. And in his will, he had written, 1/2 of everything I own should go to my son. 1/4 of everything I own should go to the temple. 1/5 of everything I own should go to my faithful servant. So when the man passed away and they read his will, they realized that the only possessions the man had were 19 horses. So the village elders came together trying to figure out how in the world to give the son 1/2 of 19 horses. If they give him 10, it's too much. If they give him 9, it's not enough. You can't really cut a horse in half. And they were really trying to honor the dead man's wishes. But they were puzzled. It was an insurmountable hurdle. How do you divide 19 in half? How do you take a 1/4? How do you take a 1/5? So as they scratched their heads in great befuddlement, a wise man rode up on his horse and he said, "Can I help you?" And they said, "Yes, please, please. Guruji, this is our problem." And they told him, and he said, "Oh, no problem." And he immediately added his horse to the 19, gave 10 of the horses to the son, 5 of the horses, 1/4, to the temple, 4 of the horses, 1/5, to the servant. 19 horses gone, got back on his horse and was about to ride away. And the village elders looked at each other and they thought, "Ye kaise ho gaya? Pehle to 19 tha, ab 19 ho gaya. He's come on one horse, he's leaving on one horse, and yet miraculously kisi tarah se unhone sab khai diya." And they said, "How did you do it?" And he said, "Always remember that one. When we add that one, suddenly everything becomes possible. And that one is God. And it doesn't matter if you worship that one in the name of Lord Mahavir or Lord Swami Narayan or Lord Ram or Lord Krishna, it doesn't matter. When we add that one, suddenly all of the hurdles, all of the obstacles, suddenly, miraculously, become solvable. And the temple reminds us of that. Whatever we want to achieve in life, whatever we want to do, if we just keep God with us, it's all possible. And lastly, as we do pranam, we hear Bhagwan Krishna's voice in our head. And we hear Bhagwan Krishna's voice telling Arjun, "Stand up, do your duty." But what's important here that I want to mention is when we translate what he said and we use the word duty, we typically use it to mean that which he had to do, to fight the war, to win the battle. But it has a much deeper meaning than that. There's a very big difference between duty and job description. If I'm a mailman, my job description, my duty, is to deliver letters. But I don't need to embody the epitome of mailmanness. I don't need to get in touch with that inner mailman. I don't need to reach deep within my soul. I just need to deliver letters. If I'm a waitress, my duty, my job description is just take people's orders, bring them their food, smile, and be nice. I don't have to embody the divine waitress. Doesn't matter where my mind is, doesn't matter what I'd rather be doing. As long as I take those orders and deliver that food and keep a smile on my face, I've done my duty. But when Bhagwan Krishna told Arjun, "Stand up and do your duty," it wasn't just about pick up your bow and arrow and shoot them. It was about embody your dharma. Embody who you are as a king. Arjun's dharma was to be a warrior for good, a warrior to save dharma, a warrior to save righteousness. It wasn't just about half-heartedly flinging arrows out of bows. It was about fulfilling who he was supposed to be, fulfilling his potential. There wasn't anything inherently wrong with not going to war. What was inherently wrong is that it wasn't Arjun's fullest potential. Who he was supposed to be and what he was supposed to do was to uphold that dharma. That was his duty. And as we come here, when we have Bhagawan Krishna's darshan and we hear his voice, it reminds us to ask ourselves, am I fulfilling my dharma? Am I just delivering letters and taking orders and delivering food or doing business? Or am I really fulfilling my dharma? Am I living up to who I am supposed to be? To my divine potential? God has given us wings. He has given us wings to soar to incredible heights. The potential that human beings have. And especially the potential that dharmic, spiritual human beings have is limitless. But we have to soar. If we've been given wings, our dharma is to use them and to soar. To reach to where we're supposed to reach. Not just to waddle around on the ground being content with this job or that raise or this promotion or that project. Our duty, our dharma, is to fulfill that potential. And we have to ask ourselves if we are. In California, I don't know in Pennsylvania, but in California there's a bird called the quail. And although she has wings, and her wings work very well, for some reason the quails tend to walk on the ground. They tend to fly very rarely. And they tend to walk in packs. And if you've ever been in a car, driving down the road, you'll come upon a pack of quails. And they're waddling along the road. And the car will come up to them, and they still continue to waddle. Now in India the cows do this, but the cows don't have wings. They can't fly away. They have no choice but to sort of slowly walk off the road. But the quails have wings. And yet, amazingly, as the car honks its horn and gets closer and closer, they just waddle faster and faster and faster and faster. And sitting in the car, you think, you crazy birds. You've got wings. This car is about to hit you. And amazingly, just in the very last moment, just before the car hits that pack of quails, one of them somehow miraculously gets this intuition and starts to flap its wings and fly away. And then all of the others somehow, on command, realize, oh, if he can do it, maybe we can. And they all flap their wings, and at the very last minute, just before the car runs them over, they fly away. And in our lives, so frequently, so tragically, we do the same thing. We wait until the last minute, until our lives depend upon it, to realize, I've got wings. I can fly, I can soar, I can go so much higher, so much deeper, so much farther than I am. And when we come to temple, when we hear God's name in our ears and our minds as we pray, let us remember our lives do depend upon it. Today depends upon it. Tomorrow depends upon it. And every day depends upon it.